Hello, hello. Welcome to Gameless Plus. I'm Josh, and today I am here to read comments and just go through a lot of them that I've gotten over the last month or so. A lot of them have come through on this most recent video that I did. I gotta turn my phone off so that I'm not hearing my own notifications so I can pay full attention. So when you hop in, let me know. Drop your comments in the chat. Let's talk about everything VR, video games, all the stuff that's going on in the world. Well, not everything that's going on in the world, but video games and VR and MetaQuest and all that. So let's just jump right into it with a lovely little praise. Bravo, inspiring, and well done regarding the Traverse video, the one that I just recently released, the 10 must try immersive experiences on Quest 3. Um, very simple hello and thank you. Can't type. Thanks for watching. My pleasure. So I'm trying a new setup today. I've got a new backdrop kind of slowly coming together. I've got new chat stuff set up that I don't think is necessarily working yet. I know if you're watching vertically, you're not going to see much, but if you are on a horizontal stream, theoretically, chat should start to come through. I'm actually going to see if any. Oh, there's me again. Let me pulled myself up to see if it's working. All right, let's see. Is there anything coming up in chat? See, theoretically, there's supposed to be chat popping up on the left side of the screen, but I'm not quite sure how Stream Elements works. That is a new thing for me, so I'm just going to roll with what we have right now. There should be chat in that corner, but it's just blank, so I'm going to leave it as it is. So let's just continue on. I'm going to continue reading the actual comments, and we'll go from there. So yeah, some of the comments I just briefly saw. I've made it a point to hold off on even reading comments much. I mean, I read things as soon as they come in and respond as soon as I can. But when I put out a video that has lots and lots of views, like the current one that's out there, I tend to back off a little bit so that I can read them on stream. So let's see. That's a really nice one from Bud Pud. This is one of the best video review videos I've seen. I did a video review of the Pimax headset a few months ago, and Pimax sent me the headset, and I tried it out and gave my honest opinion on it. So it's nice to see that that was responded to well. And if you're popping into the stream, make sure you say hello. Heather, you see the chat down there? Oh, you see it on your screen, but I'm talking, it should be actually in on the screen. I'm trying to use a widget. Oh, maybe it is there. Let me see. Maybe I can change this setting. I don't see it on my screen. That's the funny thing. You're saying that you do see it? I see it popping up on a separate, oh, here we go. Maybe I need to put it there. Maybe it works, maybe not. I'm not sure. In any case, as long as you can see the chat for yourself within there, within the regular chat box, that's good. I was just hoping to have it actually show on the video itself. So hopefully, with some tweaking, I'll be able to get that working soon. Maybe the next round. I'm not going to try to mess around with it too much. I could have spent more time getting it fully working, but I had everything else set up and I didn't want to hold off on starting the stream at 3 o'clock because I really can't go too long today. The last time I did one of these live streams where I was reading comments, I ended up staying live for 3.5 hours and I was dying. So I definitely don't plan on staying on for that long. I am not a lot of the other streamers who do this constantly. I'm sure with practice and really trying, I could eventually get better at staying on for longer. Hydration, I realized, is key. So I have a nice glass of water here to stay hydrated. I have a coffee too, which doesn't help as much. Anyway, so what was I? Where was that? Thanks for the compliment. Thanks for watching, Bud Pud. And see, there's multiple screens. There we go. All right, next we have John Joseph 26. That was absolutely brilliant. This is talking about the Traverse video again. 10 must try immersive experiences. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that. I was wondering, let me see, there's more to this. Thank you for that. I was wondering, would you use the headset to watch movies in? Is it possible to have a VR experience while watching a movie using this device? They used to have 3D movies, which were awesome, but that's all stopped. So I'm curious what you think is best for immersing oneself into a film. So, John Joseph, if you end up watching this, I'm going to actually put the timestamp into my reply. I believe that should work. 5:50 was when that started. 5:50. So the reality is, it's funny because I'm last time I did a whole thing where I was saying, "Hey, check out the video that has my live responses," and I'm still just going to type my response to John Joseph 26 because that's the way he'll actually see it for sure. And rather than alerting everyone to every single response, I'm just going to go through them and speak to them for everyone. And in this case, I'm talking about would you use the headset to watch movies? I personally don't because I tend to watch movies with someone else. Like I don't really like to watch movies completely alone anymore, at least at home. And generally speaking, I also have a nice TV. So, and I have two dogs, and they feel excluded if I'm watching something without them or doing something in the headset because it is kind of like you're leaving the space that you're in. And I've made myself a nice, comfortable space for that. But it'd be cool, like on an airplane or other situational moments where you'd want to have a big screen in front of you to watch something. The thing is if you're doing that, you'll probably have to stream it. And if you're streaming it, you're going to need a high speed connection to the internet, which if you're on a plane, you're probably not going to have the best one. But if you're like in a hotel room or, you're in different situations where it makes sense to have the headset on, I can imagine, or even if you just want to watch a 3D movie at home, that makes sense. But right now, I feel like Meta is kind of gatekeeping on this specific subject because there are a lot of 3D titles that are out there that you just can't access. There are ways to make it work on your Quest 3 where you could literally download the right app. There's a number of apps out there that'll allow you to do it, but you have to have the film file, like the video file, and you'd have to transfer it to your headset and play that file. And the amount of steps that it takes to get that working in 3D is not just difficult, but extra challenging in the fact that you can't really get those 3D movies unless you have a 3D Blu-ray version of it. And if you do have a 3D Blu-ray version of one of those videos, that's awesome, but that's also a matter of transferring the video to digital. So there are too many hurdles right now. I think the 3D part, anyway. There are tons of streaming services and ways to watch Disney Plus and all kinds of streaming stuff right now, and that works, but they aren't putting out 3D content, at least yet. And I think it's just because of bandwidth issues and also because it's a big thing that they can start to release. And in fact, James Cameron himself spoke on this whole subject as he introduced Avatar, the newest one, I think, whatever it's called. I actually still haven't watched the newest Avatar movie, but they put the trailer out on Meta last year at Meta Connect as a big deal, showing that you could watch 3D movies as big as Avatar on the headset, but there's been no word of it ever since. So it's a big subject. It is definitely going to be one of those things that they're going to, I'm sure, bring forth as time progresses to make it into a much bigger thing for everybody. But as of right now, it's not very streamlined. But at least with Meta TV, you can, well, with just Meta in general, now you can actually go on there and watch streaming services. Whereas before you'd have to go into big screen, and you could still go into big screen beta, that's an app, and watch some 3D movies, but they'll already be playing and there's other people in the room, but it's something. So that is an extensive answer. How do I word this in a more simple way for John when he actually reads it? Let's see. Anybody have any questions or comments as we go? Please hop in the chat. I'm paying attention to that too. I see Bloop Heather, the number one chatter so far. She says, I see it. I see the chat box. It's so funny. I still want to see this live chat, but it just doesn't want to show for some reason. I see it in my Stream Elements thing, but this is something I'm still learning. So I guess it's just a matter of try this one more try here. I'm adding it and trying it. It shows it. I see the actual chat box pop up in my Stream Elements, which I just learned about today, literally. Slowly but surely, I'm going to get this stream running really smoothly. If you guys have any big suggestions right off the top, you let me know. Yeah, see, there's nothing in the chat box. I have a thing on my screen on OBS on my side, technical mumbo jumbo, that shows that it should be there, but it just isn't there. I feel like it'd be much more enticing to type in the chat if it was a blue feather. Oh, blue feather. Oh, blue. Oh, I see what you're saying. Blue feather. Sorry. Bloop heather is not the same thing. Yeah, I get it. I like that. Blue feather. Nice to meet you. All right, let me respond to John Joseph here. Saying it's challenging to get access to 3D movies as you have to own them either as a 3D Blu-ray or as a digital copy. Which isn't for sale in most standard formats these days. In most storefronts, I should say. Sometimes I still look when I type, and it's weird because I know how to without, but I just do it because I feel comfortable doing it. I don't know why. Um, Funny the habits that you notice more when you're live than when you don't. So he was also wondering, he said, is it possible to have a VR experience while watching a movie using this device? Well, I think that's enough. Let's move to the next. I bought a Quest 3. This is Chinoi Achebe. I bought a Quest 3 last year for Microsoft Flight Simulator on PC. It was a jaw-dropping. Let me go to this one so I'm looking at the screen more. I bought a Quest 3 last year from MS Flight Simulator on the PC. It was jaw-dropping experience. I had zero interest in the actual meta ecosystem, but to my astonishment, I found the Quest to be an excellent standalone fitness platform. I used Thrill of the Fight 2 and Les Mills. Somebody corrected me. I was thinking that it was French. Les Mills Body Combat. It's just Les Mills. Her name is Les Mills. So Les Mills Body Combat a lot, and they gave a very legit workout on my days off when I can't be on my road bike. That specific exercise app, I have to agree, is phenomenal. I actually use it. Not all the time. I tend to go to the gym, but when I lose a day and I have all kinds of options, thankfully in VR for that. Anybody else in the chat? You guys use any kind of VR exercise apps? There's a whole list that I made that's got tons of them. Blue Feather, you said you just got a Quest 3 and I've become the go-to channel. That is awesome to hear. I am so glad to hear it. And I'm glad you're here in the live. So welcome to the channel. Welcome to the world of the Quest 3. There's so much good stuff out there. And you came at an interesting time because we're in a transitionary period where Meta is they've let go of a lot of their silliness and the things that they needed to stop doing a long time ago. Horizon Worlds, for example, specifically, and now it's going to focus much more on actual good gameplay being able to get developed and experiences being better and better. So you've come at a really good time, to be honest. Right, where was I? Responding to Chinoe Achebe. Thrill of the Fight 2, I have not played, but Thrill of the Fight, Les Mills Body Combat is actually really good. I said, I love Les Mills, and the Quest is truly an excellent exercise device. And of course, thanks for watching. That was in response to the Is the Quest 3 Still Good video that I did a few weeks ago, which obviously it still is very good. All right, let's see. What's next? There was a suggestion from Brian Sarah Gillespie. It's an older one, but I still find the International Space Station experience very immersive, giving you that weightless feeling as you explore a near perfect recreation of the ISS, and it's free. I did feature that one in one of my very first big videos that I did on the Quest 3. Definitely take caution when using it though, because you can get motion sickness super easily. It is a really cool app that is still totally free and out there. Blue Feather, if you haven't tried that, try it, but be careful when you're using it because you really move around quickly. On the Quest 3, it's probably a lot smoother with the frame rate, so it's less likelihood of getting illness, but you can get motion sickness very easily with that app. Pardon my coffee. I'm responding. One of the classics for sure. All right. And then the next one, I responded. One of the classics for sure. Let's see. Sydney at Gary X4P. Heart Sydney. Okay. I'm going to say thanks for watching. I don't know what they're referring to exactly. Sydney. Nothing is ringing any bells. I don't know if there was something that reminded them of Sydney or they just liked it in the world exploration app that I'd put on their World Lens, perhaps. Did I go there in World Lens? No, I don't think I showed that specifically. But there's a really cool app. You can travel all over the world. I featured it in that Traverse 10 best immersive experiences on the Quest 3 recently. For now, I'm just going to put that easy, light response. Okay, so this is something that I would love. Oh, awesome. Hi, Patilla Bell 07. Welcome to the chat. New to the MetaQuest 3 and enjoying it so far. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Welcome to the chat as well. Now, I'm curious, either of you, Blue Feather or Patilla Bell, have either of you tried looking up? So, Eternal Notre Dame, I've been getting some people saying that it's not available anymore. And I'm wondering if it's just region locked. I installed it on my Quest a while ago, probably like 3 months ago, and I hadn't tried it out until last month before I was working on this video. So I'm concerned that maybe it has been pulled from the Metastore, but I don't see why it would be. I'm sure it was still making the money. It's a good app. It's really cool. But if anyone else has any clue on that, I'd have to use like an incognito uh, browser or something. I'm just going to ask, perhaps it's region locked because that seems likely. I'll just ask. Perhaps it's region locked. What country are you in? And maybe they'll respond to that later. I'll check in at a future time. Your dialogue here was very this is again for the traverse. I say traverse, but I mean 10 must try MetaQuest 3 immersive experiences, of course. Your dialogue here was this is from Slippered Lobster. Your dialogue here was very descriptive and motivating, very skillful speaker with charisma. Thanks for the video. Oh, well, that's very nice. Thanks for the compliment. And thanks for watching. Thanks for the compliment. Thanks for watching. Much more to come. All right, then we have Debmaster. I wonder if this is. Debmaster says, no way. The Cart XR is so dope. That kind of dream we all thought about is coming. I can imagine some super fast system are already used already. I saw some music video clips with procedural stuff, but so cool in Quest 3. Thanks for digging. I don't know if you guys saw what she's talking about, or they are talking about. Deb, I'm going to assume it's a she, but no way. Descartes XR is so dope. Descartes XR is this crazy pass through app that you can side load to your Quest with SideQuest, and it creates this bizarre portal vision of what's in front of you, and you put your hands in front of you and it becomes something else, and it instantly generates it as you go. It's very strange, but very cool. It's very trippy and one of the most bizarre things I've ever tried on the Quest 3 by far. Truly trippy, right? Uh-oh, you tried it and it was distorted. You uninstalled it right away. That's fair. It's a lot. It's kind of overwhelming, honestly. Um, and yeah, that's definitely if it was making you feel off somehow, then I definitely would not go too deep into that one because it's a lot visually. But the fact that you just got a Quest 3 and you already are using side quests says a lot. Not everyone does that. Side loading is basically you just you wait, what is it that you said? Let's see. You tried it and it was distorted. So it sounds like you were able to get it turned on, right? Am I mistaken there? In response to that previous message, truly trippy, right? One of the most unique experiences on the Quest 3 so far. Thanks for watching. More about Descartes XR since we're talking about it. Um, Blue Feather. Oh, Notre Dame. Okay, I see what you're saying. So you tried Notre Dame from the Quest store and it worked. Is that what you're saying? There's a little bit of a delay when I'm talking to you versus what's on the chat. I'm going to chat it to you. And then when it comes to side loading, what I was talking about, so side quest, you install it on your Mac or your PC, and it allows you to plug your headset into the PC or the Mac via USB cable, USB-C to USB-C, or a convertible cable that'll send the message to it the same. And basically, if you download apps onto that, you can literally install them on your Quest. It gives you all the instructions for it on SideQuest. And then when you're on your Quest, the thing that people don't realize is you have to go to the little drop down that shows installed, not installed, and then there's like other or invisible. And when you click on that section, it'll pop up apps that exist on the headset that aren't on the standard Metastore. So whatever it is that you've side loaded is what it's called when you put it onto the headset through uh, Meta. Sorry, not Meta, but the SideQuest app, and it's a really awesome thing. I mean, there's most of the stuff that's on there you can get on the store, but then there's lots of experimental things and other stuff that you can try that you can literally get on SideQuest. I haven't really taken a deep dive into all of that because I don't do it all that much. There's so much to try that is on the MetaQuest store, on the Horizon store, so I don't really delve into it too much until I find things like Descartes XR that are really, really cool. Um, Okay, I see what you're saying. So the 3D was off and it made you feel dizzy. Yeah, it it really is like not for the faint of heart, especially as a new Quest 3 user. I would not delve too far into that. There's certain apps, the ISS app is similar in that way where it feels very disorienting. You probably don't if the Quest 3 is your first VR headset, it definitely takes practice and time to kind of get used to putting the headset on, especially with any kind of fast moving experiences and things like that. I'm actually working on a video about VR sickness and like the ways to mitigate it. But take baby steps. When you start to feel a little bit sick or a little bit off, definitely stop. Because once you go too far, there's no going back and you have to wait to feel better again. Trying to push through it is never a good idea. So you were wise to just turn it off. That is the right choice, 1000%, because nobody wants to feel nasty. And I have done it far too many times. It's disgusting. It's the worst. Um, but don't let it deter you. You got to just take a break. For me, sometimes I've done it on a couple apps that I had to push through. I mean, honestly, I was at Summer Game Fest Play Days last year, and I tried Deadpool VR for the first time, and it was an earlier build, and it had no comfort modifications on it with like tunnel vision or anything like that. And I just wanted to push through it because I only had 30 minutes to try it, and it made me so sick at the show that I had to just go sit down for a while, and I did not try two of the other games that were for other systems that I was scheduled to go try because I needed to just sit still and drink some water because it was very uncomfortable. So it's just one of those things you got to be very careful. And even myself, I still fall victim to it sometimes if I'm not paying attention to make sure that I stay in the comfort world properly because you can really feel terrible. And it's crazy because it's scientifically, it's our brain playing a trick on us. We technically shouldn't even get sick, but I'm going to go into all that when I go into the video that I'll be releasing pretty soon. Probably next month, I'm looking at releasing this video about VR motion sickness and the realities of it because it is something that's not talked about a lot, and it's one of the biggest deterrents of people even trying VR. And then people who do try it, they feel a little sick from one experience and they're like, I'm never doing that again. So I'm going to go into that in a much deeper way and explain the science and the ways around feeling sick because it's definitely a conquerable issue. So anyway, where was I? Another another message about Descartes XR. I love Descartes XR, though the first time I used it, it creeped me out to see a giant moving eyeball peeking out from behind my laundry hamper. Great list. That's hilarious because it's I did not see that, but that is 100% possible because it's a very bizarre, very bizarre app of randomness. That's why I like it. I think is because it's just anything can happen. Um, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I'm saying, is that anything can happen, it seems. Very cool. I can't wait to see what we'll be doing 10 years from now, which is almost terrifying to think if the world exists in 10 years. Hopefully. Let's see what's next. Next, we have Paul Nicholas 172. 3 days ago said, I can't wait for the Quest 4 if it ever happens. The Quest 3 is an amazing piece of kit, but we definitely need a boost in graphics, field of view, and more comfort with better battery life to make the Quest really shine. The Steam Deck will hopefully provide some of this, but not enough. So when he says Steam Deck, he means the Steam Frame, the new VR headset that's coming out from Valve. Well, from Steam. Technically, it's Valve, but yeah, this is definitely a big one. The Quest 4 will happen. They've confirmed it. Maybe not get. It's very unlikely. People are like, oh, maybe they won't call it the Quest 4, but I'm like, why would they not call it the Quest 4 if it's next iteration? Um, that's my biggest guess is that it will be called that. If you disagree with me, let me know in the chat. I've only had Blue Feather and Patilabel07 speak up in the chat. I've got a few viewers. If anybody has anything they want to add or say, or questions they might want to ask me specifically, I know I'm answering comments, but I'm here and I'll answer your questions with more priority, obviously, because we're live. Ah, the absence of color pass through in Darkhook, the absence of a color pass through in the Steam frame is a disappointing setback. It's very intentional as a gaming headset, from what I understand. But there are already speculation that there might be add-ons to give a color pass-through, like an attachment that you can put on the front of the headset. I mean, obviously it'd have to be plugged in, but there have been actual technical, not leaks, but rumors about a possible full pass-through accessory of some kind. So don't lose hope entirely. I'm actually strangely optimistic about it in the sense that Steam is going for they're really going for gaming like as a specific thing, and the way that the rendering system works, even when you're streaming it from your PC, is supposed to use the eye rendering, the foveated rendering, where when you look in different directions, it only renders in that section, giving much better streaming quality and much better overall performance, both in headset standalone mode, which a lot of the games will be, and also when streaming from the computer. Largely, that part of the streaming from the computer will make the streaming much smoother because it'll only stream data that is needed for where you're looking, since it has the eye tracking. So they've focused a lot of their technology on that more than on what Meta's already doing and doing really well, which is pass through. So I think the potential for the future is there, but I would expect Meta to have the corner of the market on pass through games and mixed reality stuff for quite a while, especially with all the glasses that are going to be coming out. And there's even speculation on these new models, these supposed leaks from new Meta headsets that are much smaller, sleeker, just like glasses you put on with a puck that plugs in, much like the XR headset um, from Galaxy and from Apple. So we'll see the next few months. I think in September, when the next Meta Connect happens, we'll have a lot more information to learn about what Meta's doing next in the world of VR. Right now, they're kind of focusing more on the display glasses and all that stuff. So true that Steam's going for gaming. VR can do so much more. Agreed. And that's one of the reasons that the Quest 3 is still such a solid standalone system, because the Quest 3 is the benchmark standard system right now. The Steam frame, I think, is going to take over for real gaming. And the fact that you'll be able to play 2D games from your headset and have a really high resolution streaming to your headset, it will look better than it does right now on the Quest 3 streaming from a computer, supposedly. So that is something that I'm looking forward to trying. In relation to that previous question that I was answering, there was a guy asking about watching 3D movies. Having it stream from your actual PC with games that are like fully playing big 3D games like Cyberpunk 2077 on your Steam frame would be awesome. And if it can be full 3D, like if it can 3D render with AI, that would be even better. And yeah, the there is mention of that as well. So the Steam Frame, I'm really excited about. It's a different system than the Quest 3, and I think that they know that, and they're going to stay in their lane. It's going to be two separate things. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of games that are on both, but they'll also have exclusives. Like obviously, they're going to come out with Half-Life Alyx, which another big creator that's out there, a big creator. I'm not saying I am. He tried out um, Half-Life Alyx on the Steam Frame, and he said it ran beautifully. So that gives me a lot of hope for some console exclusivity and hopefully a sequel to Half-Life Alyx and, further Half-Life games, all that stuff. So it's a whole can of worms that hasn't opened yet. I think the next few months is going to be really interesting when it comes to the Steam Frame and all the new stuff that is coming out. Where was I? Back to this question, Paul Nicholas 172. Can't wait for the Quest 4 if it ever happens. Quest is an amazing piece of kit, but we definitely need a boosted graphics, FOV, and more comfort with better battery life to make the Quest really shine. The Steam Deck will hopefully provide some of this, but not enough. Yeah, Quest 4 is definitely still happening. Let me do a little timestamp. So I'm going to add a little end of my notes to people who are going to read these later. Last time I did one of these live streams, I had some of my commenters that had already commented actually drop into the stream while I was reading it. So I'm hoping some of you show up today as well. See, there we go, right there, Debmaster. You saw my comment about the Descartes with my. Yes, exactly. Very, very cool. I'm glad you're here. It's funny. I was literally just saying it, and there you are. Um, I Let me just do this. Check out my recent live stream video where I talked about your question. There we go. So I can also copy paste that for others with the new timestamp. Welcome to the chat, Debmaster. Yeah, Descartes is pretty crazy. What was your? Let me scroll back to your comment since you're here. Yes, here we go. Descartes XR is so dope. The kind of dream we all thought about is coming. It's yeah, super fast system. You saw in a music video. That is, it's such a thing. Like the fact that procedural generation is becoming so much more. The fact that it's live is crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen that Google Genie or whatever it's called, where you can take a picture of a room and like your cat is there, and then it'll generate an AI version of your cat moving around within the space and generate it live. That is some craziness, and I'm sure integrating that with VR is going to be a whole thing. I'm actually going to GDC, the Game Developers Conference, next week, and I'm going to be testing out a game that creates itself as you play. It's an AI game creation thing. They didn't explain it very deeply, but I think it has like a standard set of game mechanics, but you can you basically give it an idea and it'll generate the game for you as you play. So we are definitely stepping into a strange new world of gaming with AI, and it's going to be fascinating. I'm going to have a lot of crazy insights to talk about after next week when I'm at GDC, because a bunch of the talks that I'm going to, A lot of the focus that Xbox is moving towards, a lot of companies are moving towards not AI as replacement, but as a really interesting tool. And that's a whole subject. We could do a whole live stream just talking about AI and its implementation within gaming. But it's here no matter what. And it's going to be fascinating to see what does come to fruition when it comes to the realities of how AI affects not only our standard lives, which it's already doing, but our gaming lives, because that is a strange thing. I think for VR, it's going to be interesting to be able to just jump into a world and explore it. And that's more, I don't know, it just seems like it'll work well for VR in that sense. Like being able to just have a space and then go walk around in it based on a real map, if that makes sense. But we'll see. Love it visually. It's creative. I like that kind of broken things. Cats are great for testing. That's funny. Cats, yes, ethically, of course. Let's see. Where are we? Continue on with the comments here. Quest 4, if it ever happens. I said Quest 4 is definitely still happening according to Meta. The Steam Frame is an exciting new world, more focused on gaming as its primary use. Can't wait to see what it does. And then we have someone referring to 10 must-try MetaQuest horror games that I did. Well, I did a sequel video last October, right around Halloween, and then the previous year I did the first list, and they were commenting on the fact that I had Jurassic Park in that list, and this person Lela Cook, yeah, put thanks for listing Jurassic Park. Not everyone considers it a horror game. It caused so much anxiety, I almost gave up. And it really is funny. People don't realize that that game is kind of terrifying. Getting attacked by a raptor when you're hiding from it in some random under some random desk, even though it's cartoony, it's still scary. Being chased by dinosaurs, and it's very interesting how I love that comments come up from older videos like this because it shows people are watching the videos that have really good content that's been out there for a while because it's been over a year since I listed that video. I'm just going to say thanks for watching, and yes, it's terrifying. Add a little emoji. I finally figured out how to add emojis on my Mac, and it's a great little feature. You do Control Command Space, and it pops up the little emoji menu. As you can see here, where I put my little scaredy face after saying it's terrifying, because it is pretty terrifying. It's really good. All right, let's see. Next we have Ricky Barnes, 6471, commenting on the 10 must-try MetaQuest 3 immersive experiences that I released recently. I love Theater Elsewhere and Photon. Both amazing. Those are two of the top things that I talk about on my most recent video. And if you guys haven't tried Photon specifically, I mean, both of them are great. Theater Elsewhere is by far the coolest jump into and enjoy Quest 3 things that's completely free. Photon has a limit on how much you can use it. It's like 10 minutes a day or something, but it makes me want to get my Quest 3 out and jump into it and see what people have posted because it's so cool. I had mentioned a few minutes ago having 3D rendering of 2D video games. This takes any video that you put into this. You can upload it to their servers, which obviously you're not going to want to upload just any video. But if you have some really cool video that's an experience somewhere you've been, you can upload it and it'll 3Dify it with AI, and it's incredibly effective and it looks really cool. And you can blow it up as big as the wall, and it's full 3D, so it's kind of like just jumping right back into a memory. It's one of the coolest things out there right now on the Quest 3. If you haven't tried it yet, highly recommend it. It's very, very cool. Boy, time flies when I'm doing this. I tell you, it's been 45 minutes since I started. I feel like I just jumped in. All right, next up, I'd said, they said I love theater elsewhere and Photon. I said both amazing experiences. Check out my recent live stream. Blah blah blah. Recent live stream meaning this stream. Let's see. Excuse me. For some reason, Descartes XR isn't doing anything, even though I allowed all the permissions it asked me for. That is a technical issue that I don't know what to say. Um, I'm just guessing here. It might be this. Hopefully this is helpful. Make sure you use the drop down installed, not installed, other. There are different selections in the app once you have the APK on your headset. Hopefully that will help this person, but there's no way I can fully make sure. Take a wild, well, I think it's kind of obvious what I was doing. It says, take a wild guess what this guy was doing in Thailand. I don't know if I appreciate the insinuation. There's a lot of misconceptions about Thailand, I'll tell you that much. I don't want to sound like I'm being defensive. I'm just going to say, aha. It's funny. Thailand, by the way, is one of the most incredible places I've ever visited. If you've never been, highly recommend. We went to Bangkok and saw a bunch of the sites there, all the temples and everything. And then we went to Phuket right at the end of a typhoon that was hitting Vietnam. So it was like flooded and crazy. But then the sun came out the last like 4 days we were there, and it was just gorgeous. And we went to the Phi Phi Islands and saw all kinds of amazing stuff. In fact, that's what the videos are that I uploaded. You can check out the actual videos are in my video for the 10 must try immersive experiences on the Quest 3. Next, we have DTZ 1000. These would be so much better with OLED. Damn Meta for always going cheap. Eh, yeah, that's. I wouldn't say that Meta's all that cheap for it. I think it's OLED is way, way, way more expensive than LED screens. I would love it if that were the case. And I know the Steam Frame, I believe, is like mini OLED or something. I may be mistaken. I haven't looked into the specs as deeply as I want. I'm kind of waiting until they actually give an announced release date before I dive into the specs and all that, because I know some of it might change, or I don't know. I don't want to get too excited because it might be a while still. So, but I do agree OLED is better. My TV is OLED, and I couldn't imagine going back. It's actually gorgeous. OLED is better, but much more expensive. Hopefully, Quest 4. When do you in then what? When do you in then expect you to pay monthly? Nein, danke. It says that's no thank you, I think, in German. Uh, huh. It's interesting. There was already a response to this person's. Let's see. I know Photon has a monthly. Said not sure what you're referring to. Photon? I know there is a monthly fee. I forgot to say fee for that, but you can get 10 minutes a day for free. Reply. And then this person replied, Solara 1 is a pay once, own it forever deal. You then get free updates for life, no extra fees or subscriptions. To me, that sounds like it might be the developer who responded, but they didn't say so specifically. But it's true. I'm going to give that a little heart and just say true. And then I'm going to scroll down to this one. Another person asking, weirdly, when I find Eternal Notre Dame at the link in the description, I can't actually get it there. The get button is simply not available. Wondering if this is a weird region lock thing. Or see, they even said it, region lock or what. Um, and then there was a thumbs up, so I'm guessing that somebody else had that same experience. I'm wondering, Blue Feather, are you still in the chat? I wasn't completely clear. Oh yeah, no, it says you tried Notre Dame. So yeah, obviously it's still available. It must be a region locked situation. I'm not sure why these people are not able to access it. I know that the actual app Eternal Notre Dame, they're very, very strict about recording within the app, and it's part of the actual Notre Dame like national company. It's like Orange is the company, but it is part of their actual tour. So I know that they're kind of specific about all kinds of legal aspects of it. So it's probably much more region locked than a lot of things might be. So let me put that. I spoke to some people in my live chat about this and they were able to access it. I think it is a region or legal issue. And I'm going to put the timestamp at 50 so they can take a peek. All right. Jacob and Jamal. Oh, wow, this is a long one. Let me just read it. Jacob and Jamal says, the Quest 2 was my first VR experience, and I got the Quest 3 when it came out in 2024. 2026, I still love the device. To start, my number one gripe is how Meta insist on trying to make Horizon Worlds the centerpiece of MetaQuest experiences. Quite frankly, Horizon's World is trash. I agree. 100%. I avoid this app and related games. Same here. I went into it once or twice just to try it, and I got annoyed because I had people actually approaching me trying to get me to go to specific worlds, and it felt like I was being bombarded with advertisement to go to some other part of a made up world that didn't ever feel very solvent or very fun for me personally. I know a lot of kids like it, I know a lot of people like it, but it was getting hit over the head. All of us were getting hit over the head by it from Meta for a while, and I just could not get into it. So glad that it's on its way out. Past that, the actual MetaQuest UI is pretty impressive. I like games like Beat Saber Boxing and Resident Evil 4, but I really like YouTube VR videos, movies in big screen, seeing the world in Wander, Bear Grylls Survivor app. I haven't tried that. That sounds fun, actually. Bear Grylls, variety of experience apps. My biggest this is amazing experience was after I bought my wife a Quest 3. I travel often for work and was able to have virtual dates playing putt putt, escape rooms, zombie shooters, watching movies, and more. There is just so much potential. Jacob and Jamal, I 100% agree with you. It is just the beginning of the Quest 3. There is so much more that we're going to be seeing in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. The Quest 3 is like the first breakthrough system that more and more people are getting their hands on to start to experience like multiplayer gaming. Like I've had some really awesome experiences with my sisters who I don't get to see that often because we live in different areas, different states, and we'll all get together on the Quest and we'll all play mini golf or board games or whatever. And it's a really great way to reconnect in a very simple and lighthearted way that that is the social aspect that I really enjoy, not the random strangers thing so much. There's some really cool cooperative games that are fun on the Quest 3 as well, but that's just one of the many aspects that are really, really worth it on the Quest 3. Um, just give a quick response with a link to this video. Such an odd angle to have this keyboard. Bear Grylls, GRLS. I don't know how to spell his name. GRYLS. Don't mind my dog if you can hear her. She's a little bit of a loudmouth. She's generally pretty quiet, but she has little moments. Lola! Hey, look who it is. Look who it is, y'all. It's Lola. Lola, you're on live. See how small she is. She's very loud for being so tiny. That's Lola. Good girl. Oh, and we have our other dog here, Buster. They both wanted an appearance, apparently. This is Buster. He has a cone on because he just got fixed. You okay? All right. Go ahead and run out there. Now he wants up. I have the squeakiest chair on the planet, by the way. You stay down. Ugh, he's so adorable. It's really hard not to just pick him up. But back to the show here. Let's see. So true in all respects. Are those not the cutest dogs, by the way? I'm surprised. Usually people are like, "Oh my gosh, the dogs." Um, let's see. So true in all respects. I'm gonna have to try the Bear Grylls experience. That at 50. All right, let's see what's next. Jacob and Jamal. I replied, so true in all respects. I love that you love it, and we're just getting started. I'm going to have to try out the Bear Grylls experience. Check out my recent live stream video, this one that I'm speaking of. And then we have Archangel444 responding to a video that I did on the game Spine, which I tried at Summer Game Fest last year. And Archangel444 says, here, let me do this. I'm going to start time stamping right when I start talking about it. 58. And then I can put the message at the beginning. Just thinking out loud, figuring these things out to make this as entertaining and repeatable as possible for everybody. Let's see. So he says, my main problem with what I'm seeing, speaking of this game Spine, it's an action game that is on all the systems when it comes out. It's still under it's in early development. Not early development, it's been in development for a while. I tried it last summer. It's supposed to come out this year at some point. But they say, my main problem with what I'm seeing is that none of the combat sounds like it has weight. The guns sound like tasers, the movement is kind of slow looking, and it kind of looks like the gameplay of Red Hood from Gotham Knights. If they add more weighty sounds to the guns and speed up the combat just a tad, I think it could be really fun. I'm just speaking from my experience playing it. Um, So yeah, I'm saying I thought it felt really good to be honest, but we have to wait and see. I really just my own personal experience playing it. It was genuinely really fun to play, and these comments that he's saying, I get why watching the video it might seem like that, but it had kind of a Spider-Man esque kind of vibe to the gameplay, where you're hitting the buttons at the right times, almost like a Arkham kind of gameplay where, like with Batman, where you have action coming towards you, and you have to hit the buttons at the right moment to counter and attack and shoot. But yeah, always making the sound a little bit thicker and deeper, and those things that were commented on are all valid suggestions. So hopefully, when the final game comes out, we'll see a lot more of that. Let's do 55, 58. And then we have thanks again, well done. And okay, so this is Tim Mueller. So obviously Tim is a watcher of some of my other videos. So we've got, I'm just going to say thanks for watching. So much still to come. And then, that's funny. Someone responded to a post that I just put out a couple days ago where I was opening this generation pack. Actually, I have it right here. That's funny. This Resident Evil generation pack for the Switch 2. It's the three Switch games, Resident Evil games, but they're all key cards. And the person was commenting, "What's the point in even collecting these key cards?" And yeah, it's true. I mean, you're basically collecting boxes, but I think a lot of people have the misconception that key cards for the Switch 2 that it's a key inside the box that you punch in and you only use once. But no, you actually put the key card into your system, and you have to have the key card in the system as if it's the actual cartridge for the game. And if you sell it, someone else can use it. It's not bound to your account. So it's a funny thing that I've been constantly replying to people with. So I'm just going to say it. Thankfully, the key cards can be used on other systems and aren't account locked. But yeah, plastic collection. That's the best response I can give to that. And then we have someone responding to my review of Arcade Paradise. There's a couple of excellent twists near the end of the main story. Such a great game. I never really completely finished the main story, but if anybody watching is someone who enjoys arcade games and you don't mind a few chores to get to the games, which is actually a lot of fun in and of itself, Arcade Paradise VR is pretty awesome. It's a really fun build your own arcade game where it's got an actual narrative story where you start out and you start out with this rundown laundromat, and then you're there to be tasked with fixing up the laundromat and taking care of the laundromat, folding laundry, and then you start installing arcade machines in the back room. And as you progress, you put more and more and more arcade machines, and it's a really fun game. There's a whole review for it you can check out on my channel. Um, the Arcade Paradise. The video is called Arcade Paradise VR Review: Chore or Retro Gaming Bliss. And let me just tell you, it is really fun if you like retro games. It's quite a blast. Let's see, I started talking about this one, 01, I guess. There's too many windows open here, confusing myself. phone is over here streaming it as well. I'm going to turn that off so it doesn't have that battery dying. Drives me crazy when I'm watching a live streamer and they make a lot of mouth noises when they're eating or drinking or whatever. So I try to be very minimal with it because it drives me crazy. So I'm trying not to disgust anyone with smacking or mouth noises. And this chair is also an issue. I need some WD-40. DW-40? WD-40? Yeah. A little bit of dyslexia there. All right, let's see what's next. Oh, there's another one. Another one about the 10 must-play horror games on the Quest 3. And that's another commenter, Lele, with CUCA at the end of her name. Jurassic Park was unexpectedly terrifying to me. Hearing raptor steps made my anxiety spike, forcing me to stop. I only finished playing after watching a YouTuber do each part first. Surprisingly, it's not a horror game. The scariest I've played is Wraith the Oblivion. I find the suspense of something lurking and the atmosphere most frightening when I don't know what to expect. As I mentioned in previous commentary, I have Madison VR, but I haven't played it yet. Oh, she hadn't played Madison VR yet. Madison VR is the most terrifying thing I've ever played. Full stop. It's horror at its most horrifying in VR. Yeah, not for the faint of heart. It is truly, truly scary, like evil, nuts. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have heard of that game, but Madison was out on PS4, I believe, and it's also available on VR, both in PC and Meta. And it's just utterly terrifying. It's basically like you wake up with bloody hands and your family all dead, and then you're being stalked by demons throughout the whole game. It's a lot, and it's terrifying. You have a camera, you're taking pictures, and when you take a picture, it makes things happen. And when the picture is developed like Polaroids, you shake the Polaroid, and what's in the picture may not be what you took a picture of. It's the space, but it'll show you things that you might not have seen with your naked eye. It's brilliant and horrifying. So anyway, I'm just going to respond to her saying true, and Madison VR is true horror. Truly horrifying, I'll say. Did I spell horrifying correct on the first try? Wow. True, but Madison VR is truly horrifying. Good luck. Thanks for watching. And I put the timestamp. I guess I should put, yeah, well, 1 hour and 06. All right. We have another person who says Eternal Notre Dame. Huh, there's two people in a row. Eternal Notre Dame is no longer available. And then Eternal sales of the application will be discontinued effective January 30th, 2026. And I guess Blue Feather, you said you got it on Meta Plus or Horizon Plus. So I'm just going to tell these people Horizon Plus is the way to go. So they must have pulled it from sales for the purpose of having it on Horizon Plus. That makes sense. I'm just going to put Horizon Plus for both of these. Make it quick and easy. So then this one is about the 10 must try visual experiences, not games. I'm not sure what this says. Let me find out. Translate this. Daisamen. I don't know what it says, but let me see. I'm gonna use translation. Interesting. Usually it lets you translate right there. Weird. It's not coming up immediately. Let me go Google Translate. Huh. They should concentrate on playing in the treble. I don't know if that translated correctly. Maybe they mean there's too much bass in my voice or that I should adjust it. I'm not sure. I'm just going to put too much bass. I'm not really sure what that means. That's enough for that response. The next one says Room VR equals BS. And this is a response to the 10 must try puzzle games. Um, I'm just going to say disagree. It's one of the best. Disagree. One of my favorites. What did you not like about it? With an exclamation and question mark, because honestly, it's such a great game. I don't know if any of you played Room VR, but it's one of the best. If you like puzzle games, that is probably the best puzzle game that's on the Quest, other than Ghost Town, which is from the same people who made it. Next, let's see. We have just getting started. I need a motivation, so hopefully playing a game will help. Thanks for the list. And that's a list of, they're referring to my list of 10 must try MetaQuest 3 workout games. And it certainly is great motivation. It certainly is great motivation for me. All right, let's see. Besides Elite Dangerous, this is talking about 10 reasons the MetaQuest 3 is still worth it in 2026. Besides Elite Dangerous, this is from Jericho. Besides Elite Dangerous, I love taking my Insta360 X5 on vacation and creating VR memories of the places I visit. Like you, I started in VR with a cardboard box and graduated to the Rift before it was captured by Meta. From the Rift, I jumped to the Quest 3 when it was released and happily discovered it runs fine without installing any of the Meta junkware on my computer. Now I've got to scroll back and copy this little bit of my response about the timestamps. All right. So this person specifically was saying about all these memories of places, and that's so true. Just like I was talking about with using Photon to recreate that 3D space that I did with my trip to Thailand. It really is such an interesting world we're stepping into when it comes to being able to use the technology we have in a much deeper way we've had all these phones that can take these really, really great videos and images for a long time, but like at concerts, for example, we all record concerts. A lot of people sit there and record the whole time and aren't really there in the moment. This will make it more worth it because a lot of times I don't even watch those videos that I'll record at a concert. And I wonder how many people actually do. If you had that footage and you were able to import it into VR and have it fully 3D again and as big as your wall, it might be much more worth it to jump into if you could just do that all the time. So I think people being able to use that kind of interactivity with VR will make more people care about VR ultimately. So just like one of my early questions about 3D movies and immersion like that, I think that's going to be a big pull for people is being able to use things that they create, memories that they pull themselves, and being able to like jump right back into them with a full immersive experience. And being able to just capture it with your phone, I think, is a big part of it. Not having to have some big rig. In this question, Jericho is talking about using the Insta360 X5 on vacation and then using it to create VR memories, which you can because that camera takes video in full 360 view. So he can pop that into the headset and then look around and see all the stuff in the different directions. And there are even deeper versions of that, like Slice of Life VR does these full 3D versions, pardon me. And that is a whole other level. I'm going to be doing a special feature on Slice of Life VR, which I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's a really cool. You have to join his Patreon, but he's starting a whole new setup where you can pay for it through the Metastore, I believe. Anyway, it's all early on, but again, it's a similar kind of thing. It's immersion in VR, being able to jump in and have these full 3D experiences. Not 3D necessarily, but full 360 immersive experiences. Um, but it'd be really cool to be able to just do all that without having to have like a special camera, just using your phone. And a lot of the phones, there was a run of I think it's actually still a thing when it comes to, I use an Android phone, but I believe with iPhones, there's a specific setting where it'll automatically take 3D video for the Vision Pro. And that kind of immersion, that kind of thing is really something that I think will be much more popular as time goes on. In the chat, you guys, is that something that you find interesting? Is that something that you would want to be able to do is literally just record, like set a setting on your phone, record where you are, and then have it be like a full 3D experience in your headset? Is that something you would specifically do? Like set it to a 3D mode or a prepped for VR video setting on your phone? Because I'm curious. I mean, who knows if anyone would listen to it, but it's definitely something to get people talking about it and to bring that into fruition. I'm always looking for new ideas too, because I eventually want to create some kind of app that people will actually use in VR. A lot of junk out there. Hydration is key. Nobody's saying anything in the chat. That's all right. Let's move on to the next question. Excuse me. I got 3 Quest 3s for 150 and the trade of a PS5 I bought for 175. I'm just going to say nice. Nice. That's pretty impressive. Let's give it a thumbs up too. Oops. Darkhook 1, 10 days ago, said, like you, I'm extremely interested in the non-game things VR can do. Please cover that topic as much as possible. I love games too, but VR can do so much more. I firmly believe that if there is ever a killer app in VR that stimulates widespread adoption, finally, it won't be a game. Considering the number of VR podcasters, I'm surprised nobody that I've seen is regularly covering the entirety of the monthly Horizon Plus titles, not just the AAA games, but everything. And finally, at last, I was able to get a close friend to put a Acrobar into his wallet and pry out some money for put a crowbar into his wallet and shell out for a quest. And I'd love to see a video covering the best things we can do online while in separate locations. Thanks for your videos. These are the kinds of comments that I absolutely love. They are giving me ideas. So this person specifically says that they're surprised that no one's regularly covering the entirety of the monthly Horizon Plus titles, not just the AAA games, but everything, which is true. Maybe I'll have to consider doing like a quick list type of thing where I break down what's out monthly. And then I agree. It's kind of what I was just talking about the immersion app, some kind of app that will actually take things to another level and really get people watching. Cannot agree more with that, Dark Hook. And then um, finally, I was able to get a close friend to jump in and shell out some money, seeing a video covering the best things to do online while in separate locations. Very true. There's cool things like World, WOOOORLD. I don't know how many O's are in it, but you can go explore the world together. You can even do that in World Lens, which is one of the things that I recently talked about. So there are definitely very cool options on ways that you can do that kind of stuff. Um, let me reply to Dark Hook, mentioning specifically that I talked about his comment as well. And Dark Hook is a frequent responder. I said, thanks for popping in. I love your suggestions, and I agree about taking VR to the next level for the masses. It won't be a game. Check out my recent live stream video where I talked about your questions, yada yada. Love that response. And let's see. And then a quick response I'm going to put for a quick short video that I did. They're asking if um, Recombination, this awesome trippy VR experience, is available for the Quest 2 as well. And then they said also Oculus was much cooler of a name than MetaQuest. I can't disagree. Oculus sounds really cool. I said Oculus does sound better, and yes, it's on Quest 2. Let's go to the next one. Just imagine if God of War ever came to Meta. Imagine. I said, imagine. Hopefully, we can at least play the 2D version streaming soon with the remakes because they are doing God of War 1, 2, and 3 remastered. So that'll be fun. And I'm sure there'll be a possible way to play it through there. Um, and then I have someone who's not happy about me not mentioning Saints and Sinners. Um, I am. I just never really mentioned those games because I honestly have never played them. I honestly never played it, but I also didn't mention Resident Evil 4. I guess I think of those as survival horror shooters, more shooter than horror. Yeah, that's my best example or my best answer to that. Let's see. This one is in regards to the 10 reasons the Quest 3 is still worth it in 2026. I'm commenting before watching. I hired one for a week back in late 2023. He said hired. He's probably British, I would assume. So that's like renting. I was quite surprised to see that the S, which in my opinion is too much of a downgrade optics wise, that there have been no updates. The 3 was great and I loved it, but was hoping to hoping by now there would be a price decrease. Looking forward to your thoughts. Uh, put the timestamp for this person. Yeah, so in the response to this, I definitely feel like I, I haven't honestly played the 3S. I know that it's the pancake lenses, so I know basically it's a Quest 2 visually with Quest 3 hardware inside. So I definitely want to, and also it's Fresnel lenses, and Fresnel lenses are what the PSVR 2 uses. And I greatly prefer the Quest 3 in the way that the visuals are to the PSVR 2, even though the visuals are better, the graphics are better in PSVR 2. The optics are far better on the Quest 3. So I can imagine with the Quest 3S, that is a bit of a downgrade because even having the headset slightly off kilt makes the image get distorted. Whereas with pancake lenses, which the Quest 3 has, it doesn't matter. It can be moved a little bit. It won't change anything. It's completely flat. Fresnel lenses are like a focused point that has to be lined up the correct way. They still work really well, and it helps with your full view, and it's fine once you're fully in it and it's locked on the right way. But I definitely, I kind of see where NZ540IM is coming from, but I don't expect them to drop the price of the 3S because the hardware inside is the same as the Quest 3. So the internal components are still high end. It's just the 3S, they tried to simplify it to make it a little cheaper and make the screens a little bit lower resolution. So I don't see them dropping the price much, but you can get one for like 250, which I think is a really good price, honestly. You could get one used. I've heard of people getting them for really cheap. One of the last comments was about someone getting one for like 150. So it really is just a matter of like buckling in and trying to find things for a little cheaper, I think. Let's see. I'm gonna just say essentially what I just said, even though they can tune in and watch this at a future time. All right. What's next? Jmai. Is that the Jmai Montez? Look at that. Hello, friend. Um, yes, that's so funny. Are you live right now? Are you here watching me live from Puerto Rico? Vieques? All right, let's see the next comment. Very nice to see you. There's a little bit of a lag, but nice to see you in the live chat. Here I am in California doing the thing. Hopefully, I can come out there and visit soon. Good friend of mine in the chat, everybody. Let's see. Where am I now? Oh, yes. Did I put the timestamp? Yes. All right, next up we have I love Shrooms 91. Interesting name. And they're responding to 10 reasons that the MetaQuest 3 is still worth it in 2026. This is my first VR headset ever. I've been a console player for years. My friend told me about the MetaQuest and how good it was, so I decided to buy the 512 gigabyte that came with Batman Arkham Shadow. It was the best decision I ever made. I was mind I was mind blowing. It was mind blowing, I think is what they mean in wow. Damn, that's crazy type stuff. Yeah, it's 100% true. I don't know if, for example, uh, Blue Feather, if you've tried Arkham Shadow yet, but it's hands down, in my opinion, the best thing in terms of games to play on the Quest 3. It's just a tightly put together, awesome Arkham game from beginning to end, and it's really good, and it is the perfect highlight of what gaming can be on a VR headset. So this commentary is fully accurate. Oops, I'm going to the wrong click here. I'm just saying simply what I just said. I love it too. Arkham Shadow is amazing. And then referring them to check out the stream. All right. And then next is, let me put a little heart on that last one. Oh, I did already. There we go. Stanman 121 2 weeks ago. J Mai, thank you. That means a lot. Oh, look at that. You are my #1 commenter now. Let's see. 1853 AR planes and AR choppers, mixed reality, full scale jets, planes, and choppers. One can walk around in cockpits and also fly them. 132 scale, I think, with afterburners in living room or anywhere. AR planes and AR choppers. I'm not sure. Let me look this up. This is an actual app. AR choppers Quest Store. Oh yeah. So this is a suggestion from one of the viewers saying AR choppers. Oh, cool. See, I love this. This is one of the reasons I love going to comments. Here, I'll pull it up on a little bit. Ooh. I can't really show it because it's too small. Let me see if I can shrink this down a little bit. So it's like cool little mini scale models of choppers and stuff that you can put them in mixed reality. Yeah, see, there's like mini versions. See, those are footprints. Here, I can't really make it high enough. Let me rearrange this a little bit. It won't let me put it any higher. Sorry, guys, I'm playing with different screens and different menus trying to make this work so you can see. So that's like a mini version of a helicopter. I don't know if you can tell that behind it, there's actual footprints in the snow. So you can do like mixed reality choppers and planes and control them and have them do little stuff within the world, within your real world in the mixed reality settings, which is pretty cool. I am going to check this out 100% because I've never tried it. It's called AR Choppers. And I'm assuming that there's another one called AR Planes. That's pretty cool. So it's now it makes sense. AR planes and AR choppers are mixed reality full scale jets, planes, and choppers. One can walk around in cockpits and also fly them. 132 scale with afterburners in the living room or anywhere. That's so funny. That's one of the beauties of mixed reality is you could do stuff like that. So bizarre. My dad was actually a pilot, so it'd be interesting to see what he thinks about it. I'm gonna have to tell him about it so he can take a peek and let me know how accurate the interiors are and stuff. Oops, that's the wrong one. I went all the way down. There we go. So this was in response to one of my mixed reality videos, mixed reality games Volume 2. So they were just suggesting another good mixed reality experience. And this is definitely one that I'm going to try out. So let's see, 1:30 is about when I started talking about it. I've been on here live for an hour and a half, believe it or not. Jeez, time flies. All right. Next up, I will never do. What does it say? It says it will never do well because of how terrible the Avatar characters look. Responding to the video, 10 Reasons the MetaQuest 3 is still worth it in 2026. I can't really agree, Austin, but I guess it's because I don't feel like that's an important factor for me. The avatars are, they're neither here nor there. Eventually, those can change. They've changed them within the meta ecosystem already. I said, I think they'll evolve eventually and look great, but I hear you. Because, can't can't deny that they look kind of corny, but what are you gonna do? I also don't use my avatar much, to be honest. I just don't. Never owned a VR headset, and I'm hoping to save enough for the 3S by this year. Great video. I'm just gonna say I hope you get one. It's worth it. All right. Oh, here we go. That's so funny. Lele Kuka commented in earlier on in this same video a couple times, and she's commenting here on Madison VR, which I just talked about a few minutes ago, and she said it herself. She had said she hadn't tried it yet, so now I featured it in this other 10 must play horror games volume 2, which didn't take off as well as the first one did, but people are still watching it, obviously. And she said Madison VR is scientifically considered the scariest game ever. I got it a month ago, but I still haven't dared to play it. Some horror games I play along with a YouTuber so I can see what's coming before I play, which is a big spoiler. I wouldn't do with other types of games. Resident Evil 4, Arizona Sunshine, horror shooters in general, and the like don't scare me at all. And that's a perfect reason why I didn't include it in these lists because they are horror shooters. Different. Suspenseful and atmospheric games are a different story. Uh, yeah, this calls for an emoji, to be honest. Let's see. What's a scared face emoji? I'm not sure if there is one. Oh yeah, there we go. Covering eyes. So in response to her message, I said, "Yeah, I hear you. I absolutely agree with the shooters aspect. Not scary. Madison VR is really bleeping scary because it is terrifying game. If you haven't tried it and you want to be scared in VR and you have the heart for it, I say go for it. It's genuinely terrifying. Try not to make too many mouth noises. All right. Let's see. Let's continue on. Someone commenting on the Masters of Light review that I did. Player skip. review for Masters of Light, which is a really cool shooter game where you shoot constantly at these monsters that are coming at you. It's a really fun game. It came out a couple years ago, and they just said sold. Thanks. Bit of a workout, eh? Let me add this stuff to the end of this previous message because I forgot to tell her that I responded to her message. All right, let's see. Moving on. I don't know how many comments are actually left, but there are still a lot. I was hoping to blaze through and get through most of the comments that were left that are unresponded to in this stream, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get there. I'm still only at 2 weeks ago. Let me go down and see how many more there are. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to jump in and respond to a lot of these from before so that I'm not quite as far behind because there are lots of comments. I'm not going to keep going for too much longer. I'll probably wrap it up in about 15, 20 minutes. But, oh, Blue Feather, time for you to go. Thanks for sharing my thoughts after a week. My favorite has been trip, meditation, relaxation, etc. It costs, but is well worth it. Yes, Blue Feather, 100% agree. Meditation is one of the best things in VR that people just don't realize is one of the most simple and beautiful things. I don't know if you've seen the visual experiences video that I have. It's 10 best visual experiences on the MetaQuest 3, and there's an amazing app in that video called. Why am I blanking on what it's called? But it's not specifically a meditation app, but it's an incredible visuals app. Realms of Flow, that's what it's called. But definitely highly recommend Realms of Flow. It is beautiful and it's meditation and you can set the different settings. There's like meditation options, or you could just do visuals, whatever you want to do. But it is one of the coolest, most beautiful things. I think it's the number one on that list and well worth it. It's so, so good. And my pleasure. I hope to see you again in a future live stream. I'm going to be live streaming some games soon. Crimson Desert when it comes out. I may even do a little bit of Resident Evil on the Switch too. I already beat it on the PS5, but and I'm also going to do some VR live streams as well. I've yet to do that because I won't be able to see or respond to any comments or anything if I'm doing a VR live stream because your head is in it. And there's ways to set it up so you can, but I just feel like that would be too many things going on all at once. My brain can only take so much. Here I am right now, and there's already 5 screens going on, and it's a lot. So not to mention lights and all the other stuff. So doing VR on top of it would be a lot. Um, the Golden Thread. The Golden Thread. What is that? Let me look that up. Film Freeway. An immersive VR musical experience. I love this. I'm going to check this out. Thank you for the suggestion. I will definitely check this out as well. All these awards it won. 3D print. 3D. What category? Oh, okay. It's just a category thing. I'm gonna keep that saved. I'm gonna check that out 100%. Thank you for the suggestion, and I will see you soon. I hope you have a great night. Also, just really quick before you leave, where are you chatting from? I'm curious. Everyone in the chat, if you're still there live, I see there's 5 of you right now. Chime in and just let me know what part of the world you are watching from, really quickly. I'd love to see. I think Blue Feather left, but I am really curious with everyone who's here. Where are you watching from? Jmai, I know where you are. And I love that we live in the future and you can actually watch my live stream. drop it in the comments where you are from, and I will just keep going with these comments. I'll go through a few more before I wrap up today's stream. I have Close L Marcellus 2598 who says, I agree with you 100% in regards to the 10 reasons the MetaQuest 3 is still worth it in 2026. I'm going to give that a love and a like, because I mean, I love it when people agree with me. I also love when people disagree with me. Conversation is important. I love it. The future is bright. And then 10 reasons the MetaQuest 3 is still worth it in 2026. This person says, totally agree. The only thing that compares overall is the 3S. It's funny because the comment that I made the thumbnail based on, which someone said I wouldn't give Meta a dime, I haven't even gotten to that comment because there have been so many since then. Let me see if I can find it before so I can at least respond to it before the end of this stream since it's in the thumbnail. Blue Feather, you're in KY, Kentucky, right? Sorry, I'm bad with the acronyms for states. Love Quest 3. 2. There we go. All right, let's see. I'm already invested in the Quest ecosystem as far as my games. Steam Frame offers incremental advancements, but nothing that convinces me it's jump ship. I'm going to wait for Quest 4 or if an updated PSVR headset comes out with pancakes and go that route. That's fair. Well, Blue Feather from Kentucky, thank you so much for joining today. I really am glad you made it in and you engaged with me in the chat, and I hope to see you again very soon. I've got lots of videos on the way. I'm headed to GDC next week, so I'll be doing coverage of various things within the industry. I'll definitely be doing some coverage of Crimson Desert as it comes out right after I get back later in the month, but there's plenty of VR content still coming, and I'll definitely be putting out that VR sickness video probably next month. It'll be probably titled 10 ways not to get sick or something to that effect. 10 ways to stop VR sickness, maybe. Anyway, brainstorming that one still, but I'll see you soon. All right, and now let's see. Three Wise Men 123 says, I got my Quest 3 before Christmas to upgrade my Quest 2, and it's incredible. I would pay the price just to play In Death Unchained alone. In Death Unchained is such a phenomenal archery game. I love it. That's actually I've never talked about it on the channel before, but In Death Unchained is really one of the best gaming, like really gamey kind of games on the Quest 3 that completely sucked me in and just I love. I haven't played it in a while actually. Now that they say it, I'm like, oh, I should jump back in. Can you imagine a machine coming out years ago like this? You would probably have had to remortgage your house to afford it, and now it's a few £100 and fits inside the top drawer in the living room. It is very true. Like the Quest 3, regardless of it being $500, what it does in comparison to 10, 15 years ago, it's insane. Like the fact that you can explore various worlds and, have immersive experiences and all the stuff that you can do on it, it is phenomenal. And for the price, is amazing, especially because you can get a 3S for like 250 bucks, $300. Well worth it, 100%. I'm gonna drop. Let's see. Make sure they know I talked about it. I said it really is amazing living in the future. Imagine another 10 years from now. Because seriously, where are we going to be in 10 years from now? It's going to be a whole other ball game. As long as people stay interested, which I believe they will, as long as we keep pushing for things that aren't just games. I think that there's always the comfort of sitting in your living room with a TV in front of you playing games, and that's never going to go away. Just like going to the movie theater is not going to go away. There are going to be different things that are ways we get our entertainment. And in the case of the VR world, I think there are people who are going to really only just do it for experiences and people who really just do it for games. But it's, and then, there's people who do everything. I like all of it. That's one of the reasons I like talking about it, obviously, and have been following it since I was pretty young when it first started becoming a thing. But all around, I think we are in it is Quest 3 and VR is in its infancy. There's so much more to come. It's going to be really cool. Already is really cool. It's going to be that much more. Let's see. Quest 3 support for Steam VR ended. That is not true. I used it yesterday. I don't know what else to say other than that. They must be mistaken somehow. Quest 3 support. I'm not sure what they mean by it didn't end. I know that for a fact. I literally used it yesterday. It's pretty cool. We are VR troopers. Yes. Somebody remembers that. I don't know if anyone in the chat remembers VR troopers. J-Mai, have you ever watched VR troopers? It's an old show. It was really corny. It's like Power Rangers. It came out around the same time. It was kind of like it was trying to be like Power Rangers, but it was VR Troopers, similar kind of setup where they get transformed, but it's like them in VR. I don't know. It's super goofy, but I loved it when I was a kid. All right. This is a broad question. This is for the 10 must try MetaQuest 3 visual experiences, non games. Uh, will these work on Quest 2? I'm just going to give a very technical answer because that's all I can do. Some yes, some no. Depends on the experience. Some yes, some no. Depends on the experience. It's listed on the app description. It's listed next to the app description on the Horizon store, which is true. So there's that response. Not a very exciting one. That's so hilarious. Daniel Bauer's music. Oh, so you don't own them. Got it. Well, he's talking again about the Resident Evil Generation Pack. Um, Daniel Bauer's music. Are you possibly in the chat? That'd be hilarious because he just responded 15 minutes ago. Who knows if he knows that we're live? But uh, 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 technically, we don't own any of our games. I'm just poking fun at this point because he's trying to just escalate this conversation, and I'm just being like, well, he's talking about key cards on the Switch 2, not actually owning the game, because you don't have the data on the card, but you own the rights to the game just like you do with anything else. So it's definitely a debatable subject. I say, you can sell the key card to someone else so they can use it. They have to have the internet to download the game to their memory card. So I get that people don't like key cards, but at least it's something like a solid version of a game. But as I'm responding, well, technically we don't own any of our games anymore, but I get you. And then we have another person who, this is Lele Kuka. Notre Dame is not available on Quest anymore. I'm going to let her know. From what I understand, it is available on Horizon Plus. Horizon Plus subscription. All right, let's see. Oh, here's a juicy one. I'll be skipping. Let me do one more before I get to that one. I'm going to wrap it up here soon. What happened to that one comment? Oh, let me jump to this one because we are right at the end of this live stream, and it was the one featured. This is the one featured in the thumbnail. Finally, at the end of this video, I sifted through all these other comments. I skipped a few just so I can get to this one because I'm definitely going to log off shortly. This person, Kathy of the Glade, says, I wouldn't care how good Quest gets or how cheap or how bad the other headsets get. I refuse to give Meta a dime. Now, there's no context here, so I don't know what Kathy of the Glade is upset about. Maybe it's Facebook. I'm not sure. It's unfortunate, honestly, because the Meta Quest was the Oculus before, and it had nothing to do with Facebook. So um, it being absorbed by Meta definitely may have caused a rift in a lot of people's perceptions because now they won't ever get into VR. Maybe not. I mean, there'll be other options. We've got Steam Frame coming along and stuff, but in fact, that's what I'm going to tell her. Be like, hold out, and get a Steam Frame because you'll be able to play almost everything that's on the Quest 3 on the Steam Frame in terms of games, and a lot of the experiences probably anything that's immersive, full VR. I'm just going to say, I get you. So I made it very clear. I get you. It's a big company with some questionable history. You should get a Steam Frame, all caps. I don't all caps a lot, but just for the sake of popping it in there. Yeah, it's a good answer, I think. and it addresses the biggest question and the biggest comment that was on the thumbnail of this very video. I said, here, I'll just publish it, give it a heart as well. I wouldn't care how good Quest gets or how cheap or how bad the other headsets get. I refuse to give Meta a dime. And I say, I get you. It's a big company with some questionable history. You should get a Steam frame. Almost everything from Quest 3 will be on there. I'm just going to adjust this a little bit, edit this with the reference to the fact that I spoke about it. She'll probably get a kick out of the fact that I used her comment in the thumbnail. It's even in my thumbnail. There we go. So, all right. I feel like that's a good place to wrap up, ending on the comment that was the very first one that was in that drop down, or the drop down in the thumbnail that I showed for this video, that will remain the main thumbnail for this video. But I really thank everyone who clicked in and commented and got themselves involved with the conversation. And I will be doing more live streams with more comment reading as time progresses. Probably do another. I'm planning on doing one of these once a month and read. I'm going to try to kind of hone in and make this a little bit tighter. Maybe go through some of the less meaningful comments and save some of the bigger ones that have more intrinsic answers and questions and yada yada for further exploration into the deeper parts of when people have something important to say rather than just, that was a great video. Because who cares, right? I mean, I care, but I don't think that you guys care as much about some random praise comments versus actual conversations about the industry and yada yada. So, anyway, that'll be it for today's video. Mai, thank you for joining. Thank you, Blue Feather. Thank you to everyone who didn't speak and did stick around and watch this live stream today. I must go and prepare my next video that I'm going to shoot. I'm going to be headed to GDC next week. If you guys have any kind of specific things that you want me to look out for to comment on while I'm at GDC, drop it in the comments down below. I do read all the comments, and I will be checking all the comments specifically for this video because I'm asking you guys direct questions about what you are curious about in terms of the gaming industry and the world of VR as I learn more in the coming week and a half. There's obviously going to be a lot of stuff I'm not going to be able to talk about because there are going to be confidentiality agreements with a lot of things that I'm going to be checking out at the Game Developers Conference, but it's going to be an awesome learning experience, and I will share everything I possibly can. I am invited as press, so they do want a lot of things shared. So I'll be sharing lots of information on a lot of new titles and games and all the different systems as well as VR. So if you have anything specific you're excited about and you want to see if you want to suggest anything you know about at GDC that you would be excited about, let me know down in the comments below, and I will do my best to respond and at least take a peek at what you're suggesting. And I have a few days there in San Francisco. Excited to go check it out. But in any case, that is it for today's video. That is it for today's live stream. Hopefully next time I get the live chat actually implemented into the live video stream. But that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go try something new. I will see you soon right here on Game List Plus.